What's going on, guys? T-Mart here, and today I've got a pretty cool video for you all. So, this is going to be kind of like a full, in-depth, comprehensive video analyzing both of the next generation consoles, the Xbox One, the PlayStation 4, and kind of putting them side by side and making them go head-to-head with all their different features and additions, you know, different things and information that we've gotten over the past couple of weeks at E3 and stuff like that. So, this should be pretty good. It's easy to get lost in all the information that we've gotten, and hopefully this helps a lot of you guys make an informed decision about which one you want, which one you're going to ask for this Christmas, or, you know, buy, or, you know, whatever you want to do. So, this should be pretty good. Let's see how they stack up. Now, before we get into the actual comparisons, I do want to make one note. In case you guys haven't been paying attention over the past couple of days, Microsoft did make two huge changes. So, one is they are not making you check in online anymore. They were planning on making you check in every 24 hours to make sure you weren't pirating games and things like that, but now they're not going to do that. So, if you want to buy the Xbox One, you can play offline without a problem. That's not an issue anymore. The next one is Microsoft also removed its used games policy. They are no longer going to penalize you for, you know, buying used games or giving your games to friends. There aren't going to be any fees or anything like that. You can sell it at GameStop, you can lend it to a friend, you can do whatever you want. So the Xbox is now the same as the PS4 in that regard. It sucks that Microsoft didn't have those views from the start, but hey, that's why we have competition. It makes the other one better, and the PlayStation 4 just improved the Xbox One simply by being its competition. Now, let's move on to the comparison here. Let's go head to head. For the price, starting off with just straight facts, the Xbox One is going to cost you $500. The PS4 is going to cost you $400. Why is there that price difference? It's because the Xbox One comes bundled with Kinect, and cameras are not cheap. Now, the PlayStation does have the PSI, which I think is going to be $60 or $70, but it's not bundled with the system. You have to buy it separately. That's their motion tracking software, and it's said to be, you know, not quite as advanced as the Kinect. You know, the Kinect is a little bit farther ahead, but if you think about it that way, you know, if you add in the PSI, if you buy it along with your PlayStation is going to be $470. So that's about the same price as the Xbox. But, you know, if you aren't interested in motion, you know, capturing at all, or cameras or anything like that, then the PlayStation is cheaper. It's going to be $100 cheaper at launch. Xbox One, $500, PS4, $400. Obviously, the winner there is the PS4. Now, moving up, the release date. We don't know the actual release date for either of the consoles. Xbox said in their E3 press conference that it was going to be coming in November of 2013, and the PlayStation 4 still hasn't said anything. It's coming before the end of the year. You know, it's going to be here before holiday season, but we're not sure when yet. It could be October, it could be November, it could be early December. We'll have to wait and see. My guess is November, but it hasn't been announced. Now, moving on, let's take a look at the hardware, because both these systems are pretty much neck and neck. In fact, one of the major differences between the two in terms of hardware is the fact that the Xbox One is bold and the PlayStation 4 is italicized. So, yes, they both pretty much look the same. They're big black boxes. One is slanted a little bit. They both have 8-core x86 AMD CPUs, and I'm not a super techie guy, but I did some research, and apparently you can measure the power by things called compute units, and apparently the Xbox only has 12 compute units, whereas the PS4 has 18 compute units, which, if you look at that by itself, that's a 50% increase, but apparently it's a little bit more complex than that. It's not actually a 50% increase, but overall, the PlayStation 4 does have a slightly more powerful CPU inside of it. Now, next up we have the RAM, and the Xbox has 8 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM, whereas the PS4 has 8 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM. And the difference between DDR3 and DDR5 is the fact that DDR5 has more bandwidth, so it can do more, it can handle more processes, but it's also got more latency, so it takes longer to do it, it takes longer to communicate with the CPU and things like that. So I'm not exactly sure which one is better. Technically, DDR5 is a little bit better for graphics, but we'll just have to wait and see how developers, you know, make use of this RAM, because that's what truly matters. Now, next up, they both have a built-in 500 gigabyte hard drive. They both have USB 3.0. They both have wireless and an Ethernet port for internet connectivity. They both have a Blu-ray player. They both have HDMI out, but then the Xbox One also has HDMI in, and that's how you use it as like your TV cable box to navigate TV and all that stuff that they showed in the reveal event. And then finally, they both have cloud computing, and this is actually very, very interesting, and I'm excited to see how this works. But Microsoft said that developers can harness 3 times the power of the Xbox One by assigning background tasks in games like AI and physics and things like that to this cloud rather than to the console itself, and both of the consoles have this in them, so that should be pretty cool. You know, if you can get like 3 or 4 times the power of one console to one console via this cloud, that's going to make for some epic games. So we'll have to wait and see how the developers utilize that. But yeah, in terms of hardware, they're both pretty much the same. The PS4 is going to be slightly more powerful, kind of like the PS3 is in this generation, but it's not going to be anything major, I don't think. Well, obviously, we'll have to wait and see, but they should be pretty close. Now, moving on to the next thing I want to talk about, let's talk about controllers, because these things are very, very important. It's what you're going to be holding for the next, like, 8 years of your gaming life, so obviously, these things have got to be pretty good. They're, you know, obviously very important. So, both of the controllers for the PS4 and the Xbox One represent the controllers of the previous generations. They've been remodeled slightly, and things have been added on, but they haven't been overhauled. You know, it's the same PlayStation, the same Xbox controller, just a little bit different. But the DualShock 4 controller on the PS4 side has had a lot more added to it. They have a light bar at the top that has a bunch of different features. They have a clickable touchpad on the front, which is very cool. I can't wait to see how developers use this in-game. They have a share button built in, so you can, you know, edit your videos and send screenshots and things like that. They have a built-in speaker on the controller, which is pretty cool. So, you know, sounds that mean to be closer to the player, they can play that instead of through the TV. And then they've also made it a little bit heavier and seem to have tightened up the sticks. You know, I got my hands on with it at E3 and I was able to hold it and play with it a little bit, and it's a pretty cool control. You know, it feels good. You know, typically you don't want things to be heavier. It always seems like technology is trying to go lighter, but it feels like a solid controller now, and the sticks are very tight and very responsive, so that's pretty good. Now, on the other side of things, the Xbox One controller supposedly has 40 plus new modifications, but it doesn't have any big things, you know, like the touchpad on the front or a share button or anything like that added to it. It seems like pretty much the same old controller. It's much lighter. They actually removed the big bulky battery pack from the back, which is very, very good. It's now like even wireless controllers feel like current gen Xbox 360 wired controllers, so that's a good thing. And then they also loosened the sticks. Apparently it takes 25% less force to do the same thing with the Xbox One controller. So I don't know. Some people might like that. Some people might not like it. We'll have to wait and see how that works. And then they've also added in something pretty cool. I don't know the actual name for it, but it's like area-focused rumbling. So with the Xbox 360 controller currently, it just rumbles and the whole controller rumbles. But now they've got different rumble packs all over the controller. So like when you shoot, it's only going to rumble in the triggers. Or when you hit a right wall in a racing game, only the right side of the controller is going to rumble, or things like that. So I don't know. I'm not exactly a rumble guy, but maybe I'll try this out. You know, maybe it'll be a little bit better this time around. Maybe it'll be something pretty cool and give you some more, you know, feedback off of what's happening in the game. So that should be pretty cool. Now, moving on, let's talk about gaming features and then non-gaming features. So, new features that they're kind of adding in and, you know, making big highlights to these consoles, as both of them have motion control. Obviously, Xbox is trying to push the Kinect very, 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 very hard. That's why it's bundled in with the console. We'll have to wait and see how it works. I was never really a huge fan of the Kinect in this generation. Maybe it'll be cool next time around, but somehow I doubt it. I hate all this motion control crap that gaming is trying to do. Just give me a controller. I want to play games. I don't want to wave my arms in the air. I don't want to jump around. I don't want to do all that stupid bull crap. So, yeah, both have motion control. The Xbox One has the Kinect, and then the PlayStation 4 has the PS Move, and then also the PSI camera. Both have suspend and resume game support, so that's obviously going to be very cool. You don't have to shut your system all the way down. You can just kind of like pause the game, and then you make it go into sleep mode, and then bring it back immediately. It doesn't take a long time. Both have background downloading, so you can be downloading a game while you're playing another game, or downloading a game while you're watching a movie, or, you know, anything like that. Both have native gameplay sharing, which is a capture card. We aren't exactly sure how these are going to work. You know, if you're planning on getting into YouTube, I would probably still recommend getting a PVR or an Elgato or something like that. But both of them will have built-in capture cards if you just want to share screenshots and stuff with friends. So that should be pretty cool. Both of them have streaming built in. So the Xbox One has partnered with Twitch, and the PS4 has partnered with Ustream. And that's a joke. Twitch is so much better. I don't know why PlayStation would partner with Ustream, but whatever. You know, the Xbox definitely has the advantage in that regard. And then finally, the last gaming feature that I've got for you guys is the fact that Microsoft announced that Xbox Live now has 300,000 servers that are going to be up for the Xbox One, and that's way more than they need to do what they're currently doing. So it's kind of been rumored and assumed and even reported on by a few major companies, and there's been different leaks and stuff, but apparently the Xbox One is probably going to have dedicated servers for every multiplayer game, which is obviously a huge deal. That's going to vastly improve connections, and just imagine being able to play Call of Duty on a dedicated server on the console. That would be amazing. So if that's true, if that works out, which I'm sure we'll find out soon, then that's going to be a major selling point for the Xbox One. Now, Moving on to non-gaming features, this space is owned by the Xbox One. You know, obviously both of these consoles are going to have different things like Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Video and, you know, different stuff like that, you know, the stuff we're already used to. But Xbox has also gone after TV integration. As you guys saw in their reveal, a lot of people were pissed that all they talked about was TV, and I agree they should have had a bigger focus on games. But at the same time, all of their TV integration stuff is pretty cool. I mean, you can search for shows and channels and stuff just by talking. You can personalize your, you know, dashboard thing around what TV you like to watch. You have fantasy sports integrations if you like to do fantasy sports. You can browse the web while playing TV and then switch to a game and then switch back to TV while the game screen is loading and things like that. Like, it's pretty cool. You know, although they did go about it wrong and, you know, focusing on TV rather than on gaming, they do have some pretty cool features in my opinion. So, yeah, non-gaming features goes to the Xbox. You know, they're going after your center living room console. That's just their goal. So that might be for some of you guys. That might not be for some of you guys. I think it's pretty cool, but we'll have to wait and see how it works. You know, maybe it'll suck. Now, next up, the next thing I want to take a look at is community and social. You know, like the different social aspects and friends lists and different features that they've added in, stuff like that. Both systems charge $50 a year for their premium service now. Like, if you want to play online, you have to pay $50 a year for their Xbox Live or for PS Plus. So that's definitely a big change. I know a lot of people bought the PS3, so they don't have to pay that fee per year. Now you have to pay it on both consoles. So they're both equal in that regard. The Xbox One has increased its friends list size. They made the achievements richer and more deep, and I'm not exactly sure how they're going to do that, but it sounds pretty cool. I'm an achievement whore myself. They have more smart glass integration, which is like their mobile apps and, you know, iPad apps and things like that. And they added in a game DVR where you can share your gameplays, record, put it on YouTube, things like that. The PS4 also has the ability to record and share gameplay clips. They also added in heavy Facebook integration. Now, supposedly, you can, you don't have to do it. It's only if you want to. But, like, it seems like they're trying to go away from the gamer tag. Like, it seems like in their presentation of their reveal event for their console, it seemed like they were trying to make it so, like, your name on the Xbox is Trevor Martin or, you know, Keith Sutherland. I don't even, is that a real person? I'm not sure where that came from. But yeah, it seems like they're trying to go after Facebook integration, which I don't really like. I hate it when all these companies try to connect with my Facebook and post things all over my wall and things like that. But apparently it's optional on the PlayStation 4, so that's a good thing. And then also the PlayStation 4 has added in a new feature where you can virtually hand your controller over. So if you're stuck at a certain part of a game, you can allow your friend to play for you and get you past that level or whatever you want, which would be pretty cool. You know, maybe that'll be a cool feature. I'll probably never use it because I'm the best gamer alive. And then finally, the PlayStation 4 has remote play with the PS Vita. So the PS Vita is their little handheld device, and you can play on your PS4 with the Vita over Wi-Fi. So, like, if you have to go take a poo, just switch to the Vita, and if you're in the middle of a Call of Duty game, you don't have to back out. You can just keep on playing, which is pretty cool. But that's going to be pretty expensive to do. Like, I think the Vita is a couple $100, $300, $400 maybe. So that's going to be pretty expensive, and a lot of people probably won't do that. Now, both systems should be relatively secure and kept up to date with each other. You know, since they're both a paid service, a lot of people are going to complain that the PS4, you don't have to pay to play online, but it's a good thing because now you're going to keep up with, you know, the Joneses. They're going to watch what Xbox is doing. Xbox is going to watch what they're doing. They're going to constantly be updating, adding new features, making sure it's secure, making sure it doesn't go down for like 2 months and stuff like that. So both of the community and social, you know, side of things should be pretty even in terms of the Xbox and PS4. I'm sure they will they will keep up with each other. Now, next up, my final comparison I've got for you guys is about games. You know, obviously that's the most important part about these consoles. It's why you buy these super expensive machines, because you want to play games. So let's take a look at the games. Now, starting off, let's compare launch titles. Which games are going to be available right when you get this thing out of the box? Well, on the Xbox One only, you're going to have Forza Motorsports 5, Rise Son of Rome, Dead Rising 3, Killer Instinct, and Connect Sports Rivals. On the other side of things, for the PS4 only, you're going to have Drive Club, Knack, and Killzone Shadowfall. And then finally, for both systems, you're going to have Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, Call of Duty Ghosts, Watch Dogs, FIFA 14, Madden 14, and Lego Marvel Superheroes. So I don't think there's really a winner here. I mean, the Xbox has more exclusive launch titles, but you know, typically the launch titles seem to get forgotten about, and both of them have, huge titles that are available to them. Watch Dogs, Call of Duty Ghosts, FIFA and Madden, Assassin's Creed, like those are all awesome. So one console is not really going to have too much of an advantage right at launch, but over time the exclusive titles are going to come into play, and this is where I think a lot of people are going to choose which console they want to play on. So for Xbox, you've got some huge titles. You've got Halo, Gears of War, Titanfall, which is one of my most anticipated games ever, and then also Dead Rising, Forza, Fable, and a few others I can't think of. If you think of any Xbox exclusive titles, leave them down in the comments. And then for PS4, the ones I can think of were Uncharted, which is one of my favorite gaming series, Killzone, Infamous, God of War, Gran Turismo, Heavy Rain. What if they make a Heavy Rain 2? That would be amazing. Ratchet & Clank, Resistance, and Little Big Planet. So if you can think of any other PS4 exclusive titles, then leave them down in the comments. But yeah, those are the exclusive titles and series that you'll expect to see. Obviously, there'll be a new series that come out that may be exclusive, over the next 8 years, but we don't know about those yet. And then finally, the last thing that I want to talk about that's kind of exclusive is Call of Duty. So obviously, Call of Duty is not an exclusive title. It's always available on both the Xbox and the PlayStation, but I consider it somewhat exclusive just because the Xbox gets the DLC a month early. So think about it, if you're a huge Call of Duty fan, which I assume a lot of you guys are, and if you have a PlayStation right now, it's got to be pretty frustrating to have to wait a month for, all the updates and all the DLC and all the new playlists and things like that. So, I know that's obviously going to play a decent role in choosing which console you want if Call of Duty is your main game. So, anyway, there you guys have it. That is my side-by-side comparison of both the consoles. We are 16 minutes deep right now. This is crazy. Hope you guys enjoyed. This took a lot of effort, a lot of research, and a lot of collecting information. So, if you guys did enjoy, feel free to hit that like button, that favorite button to help this video get out to more people. I'd love you guys forever. Bunch of great videos coming soon. Thank you all for watching. Check out one of the other reviews on the screen if you haven't seen them yet. Catch you guys later. Peace out.